Wow is kind of like the word I can say. Everybody friendly, exciting, and it's hard to describe. I could probably go on and on because it's so wonderful.
I love it.
Well, we're a soccer family. We can't miss out on this amazing event. So we were like, catch some sun, watch some soccer, connect with family.
I love it over here. Everyone's friendly. Everyone, you can just do whatever you want, and everyone loves sports over here. So it's really cool to see.
It feels like happiness and joy is all around me, like Disneyland.
Welcome to From Pitch to Puget Sound. I'm Emily.
And I'm Kyle.
Today, we're not doing a big explainer. We're doing something simpler.
We're going to let you hear the World Cup. We were out there with you at the Everett Watch Party, and we're going to let you hear what we heard all about the excitement that was going on out there.
We're out at the Everett Watch Party, fan zone energy, kids running around, people in jerseys, people who just wandered over because they heard cheering. We grabbed quick conversations on day 3, Mexico versus South Korea, and day 4, USA versus Australia.
And while we give you these sound bites, we'll also do a quick World Cup so far type check-in. Nothing fancy, just some of the big headlines, that way you know what's going on.
But mostly, this episode is people.
Okay, here's the simplest way to say where we are. World Cup is officially on its way. We're about a week and a half into the round robin, so we haven't started any elimination games, but we are starting to see some teams reach a point where their chances of making it on are starting to get real small. And we are starting to see some teams like US of A actually lock in to the next round, which is very exciting. This is the first time this has really been happening for the US this early on in round robin. That's one of the big headlines so far of the match.
Yeah, I'm shocked about the USA. It's an incredible shock. It's great, but
I think the rest
surprising.
of the world is shocked too. Here are the big highlights so far of the tournament. One of the biggest upsets happened, and it wasn't even a win or a loss. It was a tie. España, we talked about them in one of our previous episodes, was one of the favorites to win the tournament, and they tied the smallest country competing in the tournament, Cape Verde. Cabo Verde, if you've seen them on infographics, this tiny island off the coast of Africa somehow tied one of the largest, most powerful football nations in the entire world. It's nuts.
Yeah, and it was that goalie, that unknown goalie who got 7 blocks, I guess. Is that the right word for it? 7 saves?
Fantastic.
7 saves, yeah.
It's incredible. I think that goalkeeper apparently increased its Instagram account by like 10-fold after the game. That's when you know you've made it to the big stage.
As they should. And I keep seeing posts and reels and TikToks from folks in Cabo Verde, Cape Verde, who are like so excited that people know who they are now and they're on the map. It's been really fun to see that.
It's fantastic. And certainly we've seen a lot of other countries have very similar showing up to the events. Certainly we've seen a lot of other nations have maybe not as big of surprises, but have still had very good showings. We had Morocco tie Brazil, a nation that is certainly always known and associated with soccer. We also saw some surprising upsets. One of the teams in US's group, Turkey, struggled against 2 teams. They struggled both against Australia. They also struggled against Paraguay. Certainly just been surprising matches all around. And I think this is one of the unique parts of the World Cup growing to 48 teams. It used to be 32, but now we're at 48. So we are seeing a lot more of these nations that maybe wouldn't be competing, at least at this level. And they're having a chance to make a name for themselves, which is super duper fun to see. A lot of smaller countries or countries that are always on the fringes, and they have a chance to do a little bit of an upset, play a little bit of that underdog role.
This is what the World Cup is all about, I feel like, the connection between people across the globe and people coming here. And we're going to hear from some folks who visited us as well.
Absolutely. And then certainly we've talked about some of the big teams. On the individual front, a couple big names have already shown up. The biggest name of them all, Lionel Messi. He's, of course, well known here in the U.S. now with Inter Miami and the amount of advertisements he's in and all of the different advertisements you might see on TV. He has already scored, as of this recording, which is on a Monday, about a week and a half in, he's already scored 5 goals in this World Cup.
Wow.
He has officially passed the previous record holder for the most goals in a World Cup in all of history. So he has scored more World Cup goals than anyone else, which is ridiculous.
That's awesome. And you see a lot of Messi jerseys out there, and there's a lot of talk about Messi.
Absolutely. And certainly he's not the only big star that's doing a bunch of big things. We also have Kylian Mbappe for France. He's also scored a couple goals already. He's also one of the younger stars that's likely on the trajectory of Messi. And we also have a Viking, a Norwegian by the name of Holland. His flowing mane of blonde hair, many men and women are both swooning after that, I can imagine. But he has been also knocking out of the park. So we've had both massive triumphs on the team sides as well as massive triumphs on an individual level, which is fantastic to see. Very exciting.
So what do you think, Kyle? You're still on France's team? Is that where you're still headed?
I still see the power of France, but certainly a few dark horses have started coming up. Germany, which was a team that I think was a little bit below the top teams, had a very strong showing in their very first game. They scored 7-1. For any soccer aficionados, that's actually a very memorable goal because that's how they beat Brazil many years ago in Brazil. It's a common score line for the Germany team, and they're actually seeming to be a competent, very maybe potential dark horse. And I do have to say, the US of A has been very surprising for a lot of people. I actually do think they're going to make a deep run. They might not win the tournament, but maybe they'll get to a quarterfinal, maybe even a semifinal. I think this might be our year to actually go pretty far. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, let's check in on our friends that we met during the World Cup tour. We met some folks from Colombia, and we met some folks from Ivory Coast. How are those teams doing?
I think they're doing pretty good. I think they've had a couple of, bumps in the road. Ivory Coast had a very good first game, but unfortunately they didn't have a chance to come out on top against Germany in their game. Colombia also had a little bit of a bumpy start in the very first game, but they've actually had a good showing at the end of it. I think a lot of these teams, they're going to be A-okay as long as they're finishing in the first and second place. They're likely not on the chopping block, as they would say. So I think they're doing okay. I think a lot of the teams that we expected to make it are probably going to do okay. Again, we'll see some dark horses come in there.
Yeah. And a little refresher, when does this first round end and when does the knockout round begin?
Yeah, great question. So we still have about another week and a half. So every team plays 3 games within their round robin. And based on the number of points they accumulate, as we talked before, 3 points for a win, 1 point for a tie, 0 points for a loss, then it's the top 2 teams are automatically guaranteed to get in. And then there is, out of all the groups, the 8 best third place teams will go on. So the official first game for the knockout round will be on June 28th. And it'll be starting off with a couple of teams yet to be announced, and then it'll probably start to carry on with that round of 32 and slowly, of course, shrink its way until we get to the championship.
I will say, after being at the fan zones, getting the opportunity to check out Seattle while all these festivities are going on, I am in. It is incredible watching these games. They are so engaging. Again, a tie at a loss at 0 points can be an incredible tournament. And I want to share some of the conversations that we've had with people at the fan zones because I really feel like they share the vibe that we were experiencing. And if you're not a soccer person, I guarantee you watch one match, you sit in one of these crowds, you look around, and you will become a soccer person because it is magical. If you had an opportunity to speak to us at one of the fan zones, listen here. You might be featured in our episode. Maybe not today, but sometime soon. And if you hear any voices that you know, please share this with them and please continue to listen. We're so excited to hear our community and hear from our visitors. And we're going to start with a family who basically described the whole point of a watch party in one sentence.
My name's Phil B. Kraft, and this is my daughter, Bryn.
Hello.
Nice to meet you two. What brings you to the games today?
Well, we're a soccer family. The last couple of years, as parents, we spend most of our free time on the pitch, the local pitch. And Bryn is the youngest of the 2 of my daughters. And they both play with Everett FC. And we heard that they're one of the sponsors. We can't miss out on this amazing event. So we were like, catch some sun, watch some soccer, connect with family.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, is this your first watch party you've been to, or have you been to the other ones?
This is our first time.
Yeah.
Right, Bryn?
All right, tell me about the vibes, Bryn. What do you think? What do you think? What do you feel?
It's pretty cool. Everything is so new. I didn't know there was going to be like so much like stations and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of activities for kids.
Yeah.
Did you get anything cool free stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, did you get a bracelet from Bank of America?
We better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you better get one. Yeah, I'll show you the one I got. Seattle. It's very
That's cool.
Yeah, they have
so
one for,
cute.
I think, USA, Canada.
Let's go.
Yeah, you got it. That'll be next on your list.
And I loved what Bryn said in that statement when she was talking with you, Emily, that everything is new feeling. That's a superpower of this World Cup. It makes everything feel new and fun and exciting.
It completely turned a regular day into an experience of a lifetime right here in Snohomish County, right here in Everett, right here in our businesses. Something that I will never forget. Kyle, I was going back. Randomly, one of our episodes came up on my feed, and it was the one with soccer legend and sounder Peter Hattrip, and the one with Alex Coe. And hearing what they both said about the vibe and the energy and how Sound Transit was preparing, all of that came to fruition. It was incredible to hear him. He was right. Peter Hattrip hit the nail on the head, and that's the exact experience that I felt at these fan zones and in Seattle.
It's fantastic to see those predictions come true. And certainly if you didn't have a chance to hear those in our past, go take a look. Those are in some of our first episodes of this podcast. So please go take a look. Fantastic to where you can see, oh man, they were predicting that this happened and I was there and it did happen. So definitely take a look at that.
And sometimes the story is even simpler than that.
Okay, what's your name?
Everett.
Is this your first watch party?
Yes.
It is your first watch party? What do you think?
I love it.
You love it? What was your favorite thing to do today?
Probably just to watch the FIFA World Cup game.
And as we've said in many and many episodes, you don't need to know formations. You don't need to know the rules. You don't need to know who every single superstar is. I know you heard me say this just a few seconds ago of who's happening and who's doing what. At the end of the day, you showed up and you felt something. You're doing it right. That's how the World Cup is supposed to be. That's the fun part about all this.
100%. One of my favorite parts of these watch parties is realizing who is in the crowd. Not just people from Everett, not just people from Snohomish County, not just people from Washington and our region, sometimes people from around the world.
What is your name?
Anoop.
Anoop?
Yeah.
Awesome. And I heard you're not from around these parts.
No, I'm from England, sunny England.
What brought you here? What brought you to the U.S.?
So I've been in Vancouver and then come here. So I got family here, family wedding.
So you came over specifically to watch the World Cup?
Yeah, I had a family wedding and then the World Cup at the same time. So I thought, why not come?
Great timing.
Yeah, amazing.
What have your thoughts been of being here in America and specifically the Pacific Northwest?
I love it over here. Everyone's friendly. Everyone, you can just do whatever you want, and everyone loves sports over here. So it's really cool to see, and there's so much to see and to do and see.
What's been your favorite thing so far?
The Mariners game was fun yesterday. The badge plus downtown, everyone happy, everyone enjoying themselves. It's a lovely atmosphere.
I can't imagine what it's like downtown today. Could you?
We was gonna go, but then I think we would have got stuck because it's so busy.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Well, we appreciate you coming here. What are your thoughts about being here? You've been down in Seattle, but what about this Everett Watch Party?
Yeah, we came yesterday evening when the Mexico were playing, and we checked out the Bank of America stuff, and then we thought, why not watch it here? And it's so good. So hopefully a USA win and everyone's happy.
That's the thing. A watch party is not just a screen. It's a permission slip to talk to strangers.
It's that permission slip to get to meet people who aren't from where you're from. It's a chance to cross boundaries and say, hey, I know you're not from here, but let's sit down and watch a match together. That's the magic of all this. That's the Disney part of this whole thing, that it just naturally comes out, which is so much fun.
Yeah.
Okay, we're hearing a whole lot about people's individual experiences, but let's zoom out a little bit. Let's think about this of not only it's affecting individual people and their experiences, but this is affecting our community. We had a chance to run into Tammy Dunn, someone who we had a chance to speak with in some of our prior podcasts where she talked about how they were planning for this event. And as a quick recap, she's the executive director of the Snohomish County Sports Commission. And we had a chance to see in real time the things that she was talking about in those prior episodes coming to fruition and getting to see the fruits of her labor of bringing this massive community event together.
Wow is kind of like the word I can say. Everybody friendly, exciting, and it's hard to describe. I could probably go on and on because it's so wonderful.
Is there any moment that you can think of from any of these days that you've been here that you're like, wow, I remember that, and I'm going to talk about that?
You know, I think just the smiles on the faces of the kids on Thursday afternoon where we're just giving away items that has the Fan Zone logo. And they were just so excited and so welcoming. They're like, well, can I have one of those? And it's like, yes, and stickers and just, I don't know, just the smiles on everybody's faces and just the camaraderie. I think that is really cool. And that just overflowed into today that I saw just the camaraderie and the excitement.
Yeah, I feel like people are shocked that this is free. You know, I mean, this is free. This is this opportunity, and we get this. We can come in. We don't have to pay. So accessible, so amazing on that side.
Yeah, a lot of people asked, this is free, and I said yes. And they're like, so we pay for parking, but it's free. I said yes. I said, but we have food trucks, and we have kids activities with the soccer, and just seeing the kids out here next to us playing soccer with their parents and kicking the ball. That's what it's about, and creating that excitement. I will say one thing that I saw 2 little girls and they had their soccer balls with them and they were bouncing them and they were holding on to them. And I'm like, future soccer players. And the mom's like, yep. And they just had smiles on their faces, which that's the part that's what it's about.
That's not just a sports story. That's a community story.
And if you're listening to this and you didn't have a chance to make it out to the Everett Fan Zone, we're sorry we missed you, but you haven't missed your moment. There's still some awesome opportunities to get out there and feel this magic of the World Cup.
First of all, there are still games happening in Seattle, so you don't even need to have a ticket. You can just go anywhere and feel the excitement and feel that vibe. It is incredible. The libraries are doing stuff. There are engaging things all over Snohomish County. Bars are doing things. Other organizations are hosting. You can watch the game anywhere. You can watch it from home. There are still 4 games going on every day. So you can have it on your screen, invite friends over, go anywhere and be part of the excitement. I knew this was going to be 24 days, but I didn't realize how much excitement we were going to have for such a sustained period of time in reality. And so you have not missed anything yet. There are still the vibes, there's still the energy, and there's still incredible games to go and incredible stories to hear.
Absolutely. And certainly just go do a quick Google search. We'll do our best to give you some tips and tricks in our show notes of where you can find some events. So definitely take a look at the bottom of wherever you're listening to this podcast. We'll have some notes in there. But just honestly, Google for different local events. Snohomish County, King County, Pierce County. There's lots of stuff happening, I'm sure, throughout this whole World Cup season. Find your best friends. And I'll say, treat this like a Super Bowl, right? We get together with friends, even though the Seahawks might not be in it for that year. We just go and have fun. Treat this like those moments. Just bring friends together and enjoy the moment. That will be the way you make memories.
Yeah. And so much more is coming from us. More field notes, more local angles, and more ways to experience this moment without needing a ticket.
So make sure that you're following us. Make sure you tag us on your socials. Make sure you look out for your friends on this podcast and make sure you share this with them if you happen to catch their voice in any of our recordings. We are very excited to keep bringing this content to you. So certainly keep that notifications going for this podcast. This has officially been From Pitch to Puget Sound, brought to you by the Snohomish Podcast Network.
We'll see you next time
On the Pitch.
Quick note, this podcast is independent and not affiliated with or endorsed by FIFA or the FIFA World Cup.